Hello and welcome to another Uniko video with me, Bev, the owner and designer of all things Uniko. Welcome to day 5 and the final day of the Christmas in July 2025 new release product introductions. Now today I have saved the final Flower Power clear stamp set to introduce to you. So we are now up to Flower Power 12 and the final one, and I've saved Christmas till last. Well, 12th month, December, it just had to be done, didn't it, really? And although Flower Power 1 has a bit of a poinsettia look to it, it was needed, a proper poinsettia, modern obviously. I was just seeing if I had Flower Power 1 to hand, but I can't see it just now. So you'll see there is a bit of a similarity, but obviously Flower Power 12 is a lot more Christmassy. It's got these so it's got the outline poinsettia here, and then it's got a solid one that fits inside. You've got these 2 holly leaf stamps, and then you've got the stem, which is the same size and shape as all the other Flower Powers. So if you've got the dies that are Flower Power 1 to 6, the stem will actually cut this out, and it's got this fab holly leaf detail within it. You've got some little accent dots that you can use for the center of the flowers, and then the sentiments, we've got merry, happy, obviously Christmas, so you can mix and match. 'Tis the season, season's greetings, holly jolly, new year, and peace on earth. So this is Flower Power 12. So these are the 2 cards that I shared on the Uniko website blog today. One thing I love about Flower Power stamps is they create really lovely, clean and simple cards. And I've always done a card very along these lines, where I've got a panel, a little tab of ribbon, still getting through that ribbon stash, and the panel's just mounted with foam adhesive, and I kept it really simple. I double stamped the flower, I added some green to the leaves just with a marker pen, and I used the holly jolly sentiment and just an enamel dot. And then for my second card, I just created this lovely sort of like cluster of poinsettias. I used cranberry, poppy and honeysuckle. I fussy cut the flowers out. I erased the honeysuckle one here with foam adhesive, and then I did the others with double-sided tape and stamped the holly leaves and used the season greetings sentiment, and just added these lovely gold, almost like enamel dots. I think one of my crafty friends who was having a clear out gave me these, and they are just the perfect size. So another really clean and simple card. But sometimes when it comes to Christmas, when we're making lots of Christmas cards, we don't want them to be overly complicated. So I've got another clean and simple card idea. I went ahead and trimmed some cardstock to my usual size, 10.5 by 14 centimeters, and we're going to do a little bit of stenciling with a standard stencil. It's actually by MFT, My Favourite Things. Unfortunately, they are closing. But you could easily make a stencil like this yourself, whether you buy some mylar. Amazon do sell like thinner mylar, and you could just die cut a square, circle or shape, whatever you've got out of your dies that you have in your stash, so it's easily created. I bought this one. It's a square extraordinaire, and you do actually get the die cut shape as well, so you can do the reverse. But I thought today we would just use this sort of, I suppose I call it the negative stencil, because we're inking inside. I don't know, whatever. So I thought I'd use this just to create a little inked panel on if I was doing a 1-layer card. I'm trying to see that I've got it straight, because that's the only other thing with clean and simple cards. If things aren't straight or a little bit off, it is a little bit more noticeable. I've still got the honeysuckle, the poppy and the cranberry on my desk, so I thought we would use these colours. So I've just secured the stencil down with my magnets, and I'm just going to go ahead and start applying the ink. So I always sort of start off on the actual edge of the stencil and bring my ink in, trying to avoid those streak marks. And you just keep going with your stencil brush until you're happy. So I'm loving ombre effects at the minute. I don't think I've ever stopped loving ombre effects, to be honest. I think they create lovely interest. So I'm going to go in with the poppy. Now some people don't like red and pink together, but I quite like it. I like pink and orange as well, and red, pink and orange. I really like colour, so apologies if you don't do pinks with your reds. But I was trying to choose sort of poinsettia-y colours. Obviously you don't have to go traditional, you can go very non-traditional if you wanted to. There are no rules when it comes to creativity, I don't think. If you like it, go for it. So then I'm just going to go in with the darker colour, which is cranberry at the bottom. And it's going on quite smooth. And then what I'll do when I've done this colour is I'll just go back through, working my way through the colours, just to get a nice even blend. And you just keep going over and over until you're happy with how the colours look. So I just let Jelly out because he was asleep on the chair, on my husband's chair, and now he wants to be back in again, or he's just telling me he wants to be out, even though there are 2 children that he can go and ask to be let out. It's typical, isn't it? So I'm just going back over with the poppy here, just to make sure I've got a nice smooth blend of colours. And then I'll go back in with the honeysuckle and just do the same. And then we should have a nice, lovely ink blended square. And I'm quite happy with that. So we're going to take it off the magnetic board now. And there's our ink blended square. and we'll get to doing some stamping. So with these smaller stamps, I just tend to use my stamping acrylic blocks. You can use your stamping platform. I just find it a little bit easier with these smaller stamps just to use an acrylic block. It's just whatever you are used to using. I'm getting out all the flowers, the holly leaves, and I'm going to choose 'Tis the Season, I think, because I haven't used that one yet. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually, so my idea, sometimes I sketch out a little idea, so I did sketch out a little idea, but I just want to make sure that I place the flower and I have room for my sentiment. So I want the sentiment down the bottom here, so I've got room. Sometimes you just need to, you might have sketched out an idea, but you might just need to place your stamps just to check the sizing and whatnot. This is my little sketch on a little scrap, tiny scrap of paper, just roughly what I was going to do. And I often do that, especially if I feel my creativity is, my mojo is on a little bit of a go slow. So I'm just using VersaFine Clair Nectarine ink. So the beauty of having this ink blended panel, aperture I should say, I suppose, this square, means that I don't actually have to worry too much about adding colour to the stamps. So it's a nice quick colouring idea if you're like me and don't always have the patience to sit and colour, which I don't always have. So I've stamped that. I'm just cleaning my stamps as I go so I don't get ink all over my fingers, taking them off. I've just got a microfiber cloth which I keep on my desk, and it's usually I wet it on a morning and then it remains damp for most of the day, and I switch it out every few days. So then I'm just going to stamp the outline like so, and then I'll show you how the smaller one fits inside. Obviously, if I'd done these in colours, I could have done the dots inside the flower as well, but they won't really show up. But I have another little idea for the accent dots. So this smaller one fits lovely inside, so you can get some really lovely effects with that one. So then what I thought I would do, looking at my little sketch, is add some other flowers just going off the edges. So off the top up here. So I usually work in odd numbers as well. I think odd numbers balance better than even numbers. Obviously sometimes it depends on space as well. So So I'm not going to do the inside of the flower on these ones. I am just going to leave it as this larger outline flower. And then, but what I am going to do is use the holly leaves just to add a little bit more detail. So I've got this even smaller block. It's about 2.5 centimeters by 3.5 centimeters, so it is quite tiny, but it's perfect for these smaller images. I don't know, some people like the fiddliness of little stamps and some people don't. I quite enjoy them. So I'm just adding, some I'm going to add 2 leaves to, and others I will just leave as 1. And I think you can have a lot of fun with these stamps, building up your own sort of pattern papers and backgrounds. Little simple accents. And the beauty of the Flower Power series is that you can mix and match. So if you didn't want the leaves with the holly inside, you could use ones from any of the Flower Power stamp series and it'll all sort of match up size wise. And same with the sentiments. They're all the same font and size, so you can mix and match. Adding these leaves as accents, and then I'm going to use the hollyberry dots as almost as a splatter effect. I might actually in the end add a little bit of splatter to the card. We'll just add these. Could do with just deciding where to put them, like so. So there I've used all the images. So it's still clean and simple because it's got the white space and I haven't added any colour to the other images, but it's not like super bland. It has got some interest and detail. So what I might do now, if I might make a little bit of a mess, but hopefully not too much of a mess, is add a little bit of the Ganzi Tambi starry colours. So I have somewhere in my little pot, I keep like a little mini mister, and normally I do it inside a box. I actually took the little box I had downstairs, so I will use this instead. Actually, I have a lid of a clear box just so I don't splatter too much. So I'm going to just place that in there, and I've just spritzed one of the gold. It says it's blue gold. And you want it quite juicy. I'm using quite a fine brush here, but then you sort of just tap against your finger and it'll give some subtle splatters. I'm not going to do too much, just a little bit, just to add. I nearly put it in my glass of water then. I forgot it was I thought it was a normal glass, but it wasn't. It's my drinking glass. So I've just added a tiny bit of splatter there. I'll remember to wipe that acrylic lid before I put it back on the box it was on. So normally I have a spare cardboard box, but I actually took it downstairs. So I'm going to use the sort of this, they're not a gold, like a bright gold like I've just used here. It's more of a tarnish gold, I'd say. And they're the old-fashioned ones where they come on the strips. So you need to like just snip slightly for it to come off. But I love little embellishments like this, and it just finishes off the flower just enough. And the splatters just add a nice little sparkly effect. And there is another clean and simple idea using Flower Power 12. And there's lots of layout ideas in Pinterest, on the blog using the Flower Power stamps. So be sure to check them out. So this stamp set will be available tomorrow on Thursday the 31st of July at 9 AM BST via the Uniko website. I'm super excited for all these products to go live on the website. And as I said yesterday, I do have another little release coming up around the 10th of August. If you like the Uniko mid-century modern range, then I think you'll really like these products that are coming out that will complement the ones that have been released already beautifully. So I'm super excited. Anyway, thank you for joining me again today. Thank you for joining me over the past 5 days as I've introduced you to all these new products. I hope to share a lot more reels and things using them. So keep an eye on that section of Uniko's YouTube channel, and I'll be back soon with more to share. Bye for now.